Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Ride of Your Life podcast. This week in the virtual studio, we have a very special guest. I'm excited to dive into this one, and she's a Jack or Jill of all trades, and and when it comes to entertainment, she's the goat of it. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in with our special guest. This week we have Carmen Jordan in the virtual studio. How you doing, Carmen?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I'm so excited as a Christian and theme park enthusiast and creator that this is so fun. This is literally made for me.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get to know you a little bit. And you told me a little about what you've done, and I can't wait for me to hear it and our listeners to hear it. So go ahead and introduce yourself and share a testimony.
Hi, my name is Carmen, I said, and most people listening to this would probably know me as 795 from Beast Games, the Mr. Beast competition show on Amazon Prime. One of the coolest experiences of my life. It was 2,000 people started off. They competed for $10 million.
Wow.
Absolutely insane show. If you haven't watched it, where are you going? Like, what are you doing? Go watch it. Come back and watch this podcast so you can understand what I'm talking about. And I'm an actress. I have been for 16 years of my life, and voiceover for 8. I love it. I'm obviously a child of God. That is the most important. That is my biggest part of my identity. And it's what I love to show through what I do. It's one of the reasons I do what I do, because he's given me those talents and that calling on my life. And to be able to share him in everything I do is such a blessing and privilege and an honor. And I'm also a theme park fan. I love theme parks. I'm enthusiastic. I have been going to them since I was little. I have worked at them. I have been a scare actor for multiple years, a performer at theme parks. I even had a job where I worked for a major theme park news company. So my job was literally to go to the Disney parks 5 days a week and just report on stuff. So big fan of those, know a lot about them, and it's a big part of who I am too.
Awesome. Well, I think we need to dive right in. So let's go ahead. Well, first off, the question that we've been asking this season, and really the basis I could tell of your life, is Jesus Christ. And the question that we've been asking our guests is, what does the cross mean to you?
Starting off with a big one. Let's do it. I love it. But it's honestly, it sounds like a big question, but honestly, it's the most simple answer in the world, because the cross is a symbol that Jesus died for us because he loved us. And that it's at the root of it. People try to throw so many religious buzzwords and things, and it seems like such a big concept, and people attach all this stuff to it. But in the end, it is literally just God sent his son Jesus to die on the cross for us because we weren't worthy. We could have deserved it, but he did it anyway because he loves us, and it just shows his overwhelming love for us. And it all goes back to love. Jesus loves you and me and everyone out there listening so much that he died for us. And I thought this was kind of perfect and poetic. I was like cleaning out some stuff today. I just moved, and I found this little paper that I made when I was very little about the prodigal son. It's like a Sunday school project, obviously. And reading everything it talks about, it's like showing that a child at this age can understand that God will accept anyone back no matter what they've done. And that for adults, it's so hard to grasp. It's like, if a little kid can grasp this at so young, why is it so hard for us as adults? We add in all this extra stuff, but it's really just about love. It's about no matter what you've done, God can forgive you. He accepts you back with open arms. And that's so freaking cool. We don't deserve it. There's nothing we could do to deserve it. I always make the joke. I'm a youth group leader for kids. Awesome. I've gone to a bunch of different church, and I was telling my like girls about this in middle school, and I'm like, so many people immediately go to like, I can forgive everyone. What about like dictators and blah, blah, blah? Like they go to these huge things. I'm like, God can forgive everyone. Like obviously that, even on a smaller scale, it's like, you got to think about your life personally. It's like, God, he can save your ex. Hard to think about, but yeah, you can. He can save your bad manager and change their life. He can save that theme park CEO and change their lives. And amen to that. Yes. We need to be praying for that. But God can literally change and save anybody. And it's a crazy concept to grasp onto. But then again, it's so simple. It's just about love.
Absolutely. And that is well said about the cross. It is love. It's God demonstrating his love to sinners like us who do not deserve it. And I'm so thankful for that. like you said, whether you're the CEO of a theme park or you're just an office worker,
Yeah.
and no matter what your task may be in life, even if you're a student, whatever you are, Jesus is willing to save you and forgive you of your sins if you simply let him. And that's our mission, our goal here at Right of Your Life, is to make you know that you can be redeemed, restored, and revived in and through Jesus Christ. So that was a perfect answer to what the cross means to you. So awesome.
Thank you.
Well, let's go ahead and dive right in. First things first, what people may know you for is the Beast Games. So go ahead. For those who may have not heard about it, go ahead and tell us what the Beast Games and how you got into this.
Okay, so if you haven't heard of Mr. Beast, I need to introduce you to a thing called YouTube. It seems you've never heard of it. Yeah. Mr. Beast is a YouTuber, the YouTuber with the most subscribers in the world. He has more subscribers currently than the population of America, which is crazy. He's doing insane things on there, and he has been for a long time. And he created a show called Beast Games that is currently on Amazon Prime. For the first couple weeks it debuted, for the first 10 weeks, actually, it was the #1 show on Amazon Prime in 95 countries. It did numbers, and it was incredible. He got together, at first, 2,000 contestants for a YouTube video that he did. We filmed a YouTube video in Las Vegas with 2,000 people. They put us inside of Raiders Stadium, and we slept on the floor. It was multiple days long. And out of those 2,000 people, 1,000 people got eliminated, and 1,000 people moved on to the Amazon Prime TV show, Beast Games. And that was 10 episodes of a show where we competed in various challenges for what we thought was $5 million. And spoiler alert, it's spoilers for probably most of the show if you haven't seen it. Again, like I said, go watch it first. Yeah. It was actually $10 million. They doubled the prize halfway through because of a coin flip, which is absolutely insane. He brought us all there, 1,000 people. He built a city that we lived in, a $15 million city called Beast City. There was people competed for a $1.8 million private island. Absolutely crazy stuff was going on in the show.
Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah.
And what would you say was your favorite challenge during your run of the Beast Games?
My favorite challenge. Okay. It's so hard because this is one of the hardest challenges we had to do, but it also has some of the best memories attached to it. Mm-hmm. In episode 3, Jimmy tricked us into partnering with 2 of our closest friends. So 3 of us got together for what we thought was a no elimination fun sack race game for a prize. And then did a 180 on us like he normally does and said, hey, actually, one of you guys are going home. He locked us in these little, they were red boxes, like inside were like white padded insane asylum boxes for 5 hours. And he said, whatever you need to do, play games, decide, like whatever. But by the end of 5 hours, one of you guys has to eliminate yourselves and the other 2 will walk out. And if no one can make a decision, then all 3 of you are gone. Now, the catch of this was we had a phone in those boxes and we could ask for whatever we wanted. Anything in the world. Huh. They wouldn't say no. Now, we couldn't keep it with us. So like you could say, hey, I want $1 million. They would bring you $1 million, but you couldn't take the $1 million. So, gotcha. Anything else though you could ask for. So my friends that I was with, one of them, Alon, he decided to self-sacrifice for us immediately off the bat. It was so much self-sacrificing in the show, which is a topic of its own, but it kind of showed a beautiful Christian message, and I can't wait to get into that later. But he decided to self-sacrifice for us, and they ran over with the cameras. They're like, oh my gosh, you're leaving? And we're like, well, no, we're going to enjoy these 5 hours we have together. And so we used that phone and we called in so much stuff. We got a karaoke machine and we drew all over the walls and we got food, and other people asked for insane stuff. I had a friend who got a tattoo. People called in like a horse, like crazy stuff was happening. Wow. It was so wild to just like open the box and see a horse walking through. So despite that being such a emotional challenge, because one of the people I had gotten closest to in my entire time at Beast Games decided to sacrifice his spot so that I could continue. It was still such a fun challenge. We were enjoying. We sung All Star on karaoke. Everyone else around us is like crying and trying to figure out who's going to eliminate, and we were having a blast. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And That's so neat. I was going to ask this a little bit later, but how did you see Jesus in the midst of the Beast Games?
So much. So this is a long one. Yeah, strap
Go
in.
for
But
it.
this is the thing I am the most excited to talk about. God was there every step of the way before the show even started and after it ended. Obviously, he's here all the time, but
Yeah.
for Beast Games specifically, he kept showing up and showing out. Before I even started, when I was in the audition process for this show, God worked miracles for me to be able to get on the show. I did not have the things I needed. I did not have a passport. I did not have like all these certain documents I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And I submitted anyway in faith. And when I started to see like, oh, this could be a real possibility, God showed up. I got my passport in like an amount of time I should not have been able to get it, and all these other documents that I needed, and just every single thing that worked out. Like even not having like a job at the time that was super flexible, I was able to get out of that and be able to go do this project, because this took up. I was at these games for combined almost a month. It was a crazy amount of time. So I showed up through that whole process miraculously. And even just getting the job was 100,000 people auditioned for season 1.
Wow.
They picked 2,000 and I was one of them, which absolutely insane. So when we showed up to the first part in Vegas, God was showing himself immediately. I'm in line for the first game. The first challenge was we were going to be lifting 10,000-pound boulders with our team. They split it up into 5 teams, and we had to pull a rope and lift 10,000-pound boulders, which is mind-boggling that that's a thing I can say I did. I'm sitting there praying about what I should be doing, what team I should be on, and I originally picked this one team, and like literally 5 seconds before they announced the like no more team switching, I had this like gut feeling. I was like, you need to move, and I moved over to the next line, and that challenge, the team I was on got eliminated. First challenge of the entire game, they were out. So I would have been in that. So already God showing up in that. And as I was sitting there preparing for that challenge, I was praying, and a girl came over to me and she's like, "Hey, are you praying?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Let's pray together. 2 or 3 agree." And I'm like, "Amen." And so already I was seeing these signs that there were these people there who had strong faith, which was awesome. In the third challenge of that, no, it was the second challenge. Sorry, the second challenge of the game. It's been a year now. It's actually been Beast Games was filming a year ago today, so
wow,
that's kind of full circle to be filming this right now. In the second challenge, I ended up hurting my leg because it was a running challenge. It was a briefcase game, and we had to take off running, and I fell. I hurt my leg really badly, and at first I'm like, God, how could this happen? Like, I feel like I'm supposed to be here. These are physical challenges. What am I going to do? I went to the like infirmary in-house that night, and I ended up sitting next to somebody. I won't share her name because I'm not sure. This is not her story to share. That would be hers. But she sat there, saw me praying, and she asked me, she's like, "Hey, I heard you like talking about this Jesus thing. Can you tell me more about that?" She's like, "I was raised Catholic, and I no longer identify with that, but like I keep hearing people talk about this stuff, and I'm really interested." We sat there in that infirmary for 3 hours talking about God. And I asked her if she wanted to get saved. She did not that night, which was obviously totally fine.
Yeah.
Episode 1 of Beast Games, while we're in Canada, she comes up to me in the giant arena where there's 1,000 podiums, and she runs up and she goes, "Hey, that getting saved thing you told me about a couple weeks ago, I want to do that." And we sat there on episode 1 of Beast Games and prayed, and she was saved. We saw so many people get saved during this challenge. I believe 6 people gave their lives to God at these games.
Wow. Praise the Lord.
Absolutely insane. This competition meant for people to be fighting against each other for $10 million, and people were coming together and giving their lives to Christ. 2 people even got baptized on Beast Island in the water.
That is so cool. Man, praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. And it goes even further than that. When we got to Canada, which is where the actual TV show was filmed, inside of Beast City, there were 500 people. And I was walking by some picnic tables one day, and I saw these 2 dudes with their Bibles out. And I was like, "Oh, hey guys, are you doing like a Bible study?" And they were like, "Kinda, yeah, come join." We are sitting there, the 3 of us. By the end of us just sitting there and talking about a Bible, talking about God, I counted there were 16 people that gathered around. I was like, okay, people are here, are hungry for Christ. They're on fire for Christ. Yeah. So we started a Bible study inside of Beast Games. So when we weren't filming, we were doing these Bible studies. It was incredible. And it was actually a Saturday. We had like no filming that day because we'd done an overnight shoot. And we said, hey, let's have a church service. There was a couple of us there who, had worked this stuff. I had been a worship leader before. Jeremy, who was on the show, he was kind of the one, they called him the preacher or the cult leader, which was, people see these rallying around this and they don't understand God's power and how if you have a relationship with God, you want to talk about him all the time. People see that as culty. And that is just a different abuse. People don't understand that when he comes in and changes your life, it's just, you got to share that good news to everybody. But Jeremy was there, and my friends Ozzy and Nellie, and we had a church service. I got to lead worship with a few other girls who helped me sing. Jeremy preached, Ozzy led like a Q&A afterwards. And there was 240 contestants left at the time. I believe 120 came to the church service.
Come on, that is awesome.
Is that not incredible? That was insane. It wasn't lost on us that we were having a church service in a place called B City in front of a pile of $5 million. This was a real thing that was happening. That was one of those moments in life you're like, is this my life? Is this really what's happening? I'm going to a church service in front of $5 million. But it was incredible. It gave so much hope, and it was a beautiful message about how, not everyone there was going to win that $5 million. Obviously, it was going to be one person, but that wasn't because God was against you. It's because God is always looking out for us. He knows so much better than us. It's like a father. If you ask your dad, oh, hey, Dad, can I go play in the street with all the pretty cars? It's like, no, obviously not. He's going to protect you. And it's not because he wants to keep you from having fun. It's because he sees the bigger picture that you don't. And God saw that bigger picture. $5 million could have ruined people's lives. I believe to the person who goes through, again, spoilers, he has such a beautiful testimony, and he's using that money for amazing things. And it's something that even I, as much as I wanted to win, like $5 million could have ruined my life. That moment that the girl on set got saved in episode 1, I was like, that's all I was here for. I was like, if I don't win, if I don't do anything else, if I get eliminated right now, that's what I was here for. And I was even there for even more than that, but I knew I was on that set for a reason. And I think we accomplished as much as we could. Like I said, 6 people got saved. 2 people got baptized on the island. People's lives were getting changed, and they were rediscovering God and discovering God through Beast Games, an Amazon Prime competition TV show.
Man. God uses, in scripture, it says, God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. The fact that God used Mr. Beast in the Beast Games to bring so many people to him, that is amazing. And you don't hear that every day. You really don't.
No.
And
especially considering Mr. Beast himself is not a Christian. He is not. This was not like a Christian event. This was not a Christian game show. This was nothing. There is someone on his team, if you guys are familiar with Mr. Beast, Chandler. He is a devout Christian. He does Bible studies every single day on his TikTok. He's out there preaching the word. He's got an amazing ministry going on. But no one else on that team is outwardly Christian. And so that was awesome to get to talk to him. I talked to him a little bit about his ministry and his Bible studies and stuff, and he was super excited to hear about all that was going on set. We let Mr. Beast and Jimmy know what was going on. Some of his friends were there at that church service. They were listening in. Those producers, they were filming. They filmed the entire thing. There's footage of it out there somewhere. I want to see it. Incredible stuff. Another thing that just showed up that God was like working something personally and that I was able to share with people there. I had a little Bible. We weren't allowed to bring anything. The culture of Beast Games was so interesting because we had no connection to the outside world. No phones, we couldn't talk to anyone. It was just us and the games and the people that we had there. The one thing I was allowed to bring was a little pocket Bible. So I had this with me at all times on set, which was awesome. And I was sitting there reading it one night, and I found this verse, and this was like a crazy moment for me. I went pulling it up so I get it exactly correct. Okay. It's the last half of Hebrews 11:16. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared for them a city. I read that while sitting in B City, this thing that I had moved from 2,000 people to 500 people to be able to make it to this city that a man had made. And we were so excited. We had to do crazy things even just to get to this point. And episode 1, I gave up a bribe of $100,000 just to make it into the city. A real thing that happened. Yes, every single person who was there had given up $100,000 just to make it. And I was like, if we are doing all this, if we are so excited about this man-made city for this Amazon TV show, how much better is this heavenly city that is being talked about right here, that Jesus has prepared for us, and these things we can't even begin to comprehend. If this is so cool, how are we treating this with so much respect, and we don't even treat the Lord who has prepared for us a heavenly city with that? Yeah. It was a crazy perspective, and that was something we really latched onto during that time, because God has prepared a place for us in heaven, has prepared a city for us, and we don't have to do crazy challenges to get there. All we have to do is accept him into our hearts,
Absolutely.
Pretty cool.
And that's so neat. And hopefully your guys' influence on Mr. Beast planted a seed in his heart to where someday he will accept Christ as a savior. Yeah. I'm not saying that his love for the money or whatever, but just hopefully he comes to realize there's more than just doing good things. He does some amazing things for people. If you were to look at his YouTube channel, there's no doubt he does some amazing things for some people. But ultimately, he needs to have Jesus if he hasn't accepted him already. And,
of course, there's so many Christian values being displayed just through what he does. I mean, giving so much money to people in need, and going out to these different countries. And right now he has Team Water, which is dedicated to giving clean water to these villages. Like, incredible stuff that it's showing the heart of Jesus, even though he doesn't know it. Yeah. People can be brought through anything. People can literally find God through anything. So it's like, if I pray for him every day, I pray for his team. They're amazing people. So I'd love to see them be on fire for Christ, because that would just be incredible.
Yeah. And what little impact you guys made in Beast City will go far beyond what you'll ever imagine. Heaven will reveal just the impact you made on those folks that were there, and it just still blows my mind.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. Even the folks watching, like, it was shared on TV. Like, they didn't cut it out. We prayed. We prayed that God would be so prevalent through this whole process that they wouldn't be able to cut it out, that they would have to show it on TV. And they did. They had to show it. Half of my lines in the show are me saying Jesus. That's not a joke. I get recognized as the Jesus girl for Beast Games. I was at Universal Studios literally a couple weeks ago, and this group of like youth group kids, I wasn't wearing my jersey or anything, it was just like a normal day, and they ran up and they were like, "You were the Jesus girl from Beast Games." And I'm like, yeah, because that's literally, they showed me proclaiming his name so many times on the show. What a wonderful reputation to have. But to think about the people sitting on their couches at home watching the show that they just turned on to watch people competing could have been saved from an experience like that, or at least like had a seed planted in their hearts because of that, is so cool. And I'm so glad they weren't able to cut it out. Like I said, we were there talking about it, proclaiming his name. During challenges, we were praying in the tower challenge. It was another self-sacrifice challenge. I remember just grabbing my friends who were there. I was like, what can we do? There's nothing we can do. We can get on our knees and pray that we make it through this, because there's quite literally nothing we can do in this situation besides pray to God that this works out the way we want it to. So that was awesome to see the effect, not only for the contestants there or the producers there or Mr. Beast and his team, but for people sitting at home watching these games.
Yeah. What better title to have than the Jesus girl?
Yeah, right.
Seriously, though. Like, what has been some of the reactions from viewers out and about when they see you? Obviously, with that one interaction at Universal, but what's it been like being famous from the Beast Games?
It's like such a niche internet micro celebrity moment, you know? Yeah. But it's very funny to watch who can recognize and who doesn't. I notice it does happen quite often at theme parks, which is really funny. Universal, that happened. It happened when I was at, like, they have at Universal every year Rock the Universe.
Yep,
and so that was the day.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. I was there too. Let's go. And nice. So a lot of people were running up during that because, like, oh, hey, these are like Christian people who are younger and obviously fans of Mr. Beast and stuff. So that was like a higher recognized percentage. It even happened. I was in Texas recently, and it happened at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, which was really funny. And
nice.
When I wear the jersey, that's what goes crazy. I remember wearing it to Disneyland once to take some photos because I wanted to get some photos in it for like promotional stuff. And that was really funny. So many people running out, and some people just because they recognize the jersey, they don't know who I am. Obviously, they were just like, "Were you on Beast Games?" And then some people running up like, "Yo, you were that girl that lost to rock paper scissors," and I'm like, "Thank you for reminding me." Yeah, I did in fact lose $10 million to rock paper scissors. Thank you so much. I forgot how to. But it's so cool, and to be able to share that, especially when it is people recognizing me for like those Jesus girl moments, like those youth group kids. Or I visited a church once and I had a kid run up to me and recognize me from this church, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, like you made me want to do this," and like, you know, I shared that with people because you were talking about Jesus and Mr. Beast, and it made me be able to like talk to people about Mr. Beast and show this, and I was like, that's so awesome to be able to hear that. So I don't know, even if it's little stuff, it makes a difference. Any interaction like that is so special to me. I love it. I've had people challenge me to rock, paper, scissors, which is hilarious. I'm like, gee, thanks. If only I end up winning too. I'm like, if I could have won, would have made a difference for real.
That's so awesome. But yeah, that's neat that you have that lasting impression on people. Not the rock, paper, scissors, but the fact that you're Jesus to them. But you probably have said it already, but what was like your absolute favorite memory from your time there?
My absolute favorite memory. I'm torn between my real answer and my funny ansor. But first, my real answer is so we had like a little area called the Feastables Cafe, like outside sitting area where we ate. The food was so good, by the way. I ate so many Feastables. I had.
There you go.
Promo. So many Feastables. This is signed by everybody, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, a little keepsake. But there was one night after a challenge, and the next challenge, me and my friend were on opposite teams, so we knew after this one of us is going home, and we bonded with these people really quickly. I say friends, it's like I didn't go in there knowing anyone. There actually was one person I'd worked with at Universal before, and I saw her, and seeing her in the crowd of 2,000 people was so funny. Like what a weird moment. But besides that, I did not know a single other person there. And we bonded with them so quickly because we're getting put in these insane, stressful situations. And like I said, again, we didn't have phones. We didn't have any connection to the outside world. So I think when you're in that circumstance, you bond so much quicker than normal. And it's like, we really formed a community because of that. It was kind of nice. Like, I missed that. When I got my phone afterwards, I was like, I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to do that again. But we were sitting there after a challenge one night. We knew one of us was going to be going home, and our other friend was there. And we were just like laughing on the grass until like 4 a.m. There were like the guards and stuff out there and the producers, and they were like, "Are they okay? Like, why are these people just on the..." Like, we'd had one of the most stressful days. We had been going through these crazy challenges, but we were sitting out there just having fun and enjoying and relishing in how crazy this moment was and what we were doing and all of that. That was such a fun moment. And then one of my other favorite memories was yelling at Mr. Beast. Never thought I could say that because I've been watching him for, gosh, like 8 or 9 years now. Wow. Since he was filling people's backyard with petties. So being on this really was like a dream come true for me. It was a once in a lifetime moment, and I'm so happy I got to experience it. So it was kind of surreal when in episode 1 of the show, there was a tower building challenge. We had to build these towers with blocks, foam blocks. And if it fell over, you were eliminated. You were gone. And the podiums we were standing on were actually trapdoors. When you got eliminated, they would open and you would fall through. So at first it was like scary, like, oh, I'm standing on top of a trapdoor. By the 4th day of filming, we were like sleeping on the trapdoors. We did not care anymore. But I was building my tower block on the trapdoor, and the girl next to me, she was one of the first people to have her towers fall over. And I felt so bad. But at that moment, Jimmy starts walking over and he steps onto my platform as I'm building this. And I looked at him, I was like, get off. I was like, get off my platform if you make me lose. He's like, I'm not going to ruin anything. I was like, move, go, leave. I was not accepting it. I was like, because I knew that even if he did it, I would be getting eliminated. So I was like, leave. I don't care. Get off my platform. I never thought I would be shooing Mr. Beast away, but here we were. He was a wonderful guy, by the way. I never yelled at him again. He was a very nice man.
Just had to build your tower. That's all you needed to do.
I was like, I don't care. Get off. So everyone else was like mesmerized that he was around him. I was like, I'm locked in. Go away.
That's awesome. And I'm going to be honest right now. I have not seen it yet. So I need to get Prime and watch this like right now. I'm going to...
For you and for all the listeners out there, the first 3 episodes are available for free on YouTube.
Nice.
And then the YouTube video itself, the one I talked about with 2,000 people, was called 2,000 People Compete for $10 Million. That's the Las Vegas video. First 3 episodes are uploaded, and then the rest of them are on Amazon Prime.
Awesome. And we'll leave that link for everybody in the show notes below. That's so cool. And it's neat the Lord allowed you to go there, almost like your mission field, to go and just reach out to these folks. And like you said, if it was just for that one girl, it would have been worth it all. And what were some other takeaways you had from your time there, whether it was just from a spiritual Christian aspect or just in life in general?
Life in general. Goodness, I believe that the whole experience definitely made me a lot more confident in my like decision making and all of these different things. It was so on. You had to be on 24/7. We had cameras on us 24/7. There wasn't really downtime. People were constantly strategizing and doing, and like even though we were making friendships, like it was still people were stressed. It was a wonderful time. It was a fun time, but it was also this like you're not lost that you're competing for $5 million still. But I believe I gained a lot of confidence from this. I definitely gained a lot of confidence in Christ. This before this experience, I would not say my faith was as strong as it was. And again, so Mr. Beast, not only did God use this experience to bring others to Christ, used it to bring me closer to Him, which is absolutely insane. I had gone through I've been a Christian. I was born and raised, but I've had my ups and downs, obviously. Yeah. And I was not super comfortable with just randomly sharing Christ with people. That wasn't a thing I felt, not even with my friends, that I feel comfortable to do that. And something just kind of shifted. I had some life stuff that happened right before, and I started really having to heavily rely on God. And then during this, I realized, oh shoot, I can't rely on anyone else. I have to heavily rely on God. And through that, that's what made me have that confidence to be able to speak about Him and share Him. And that was so cool to be able to grasp onto Him in something that was this weird and cool of a situation. It's gave me a lot of confidence to share Him in any situation. I was just in an Uber and had my Uber driver talking to me about a problem he had. I was like, hey, can I pray for you? That's something I would not have done years ago, And it truly shows that God can use anything, like you said, as a mission field. You don't have to go to Africa. It can be your school. It can be your workplace. It can be, I was a scare actor. It can be Halloween Horror Nights. You can be sitting there, it can be anything. It can be a theme park. It can be a podcast. It can be a competition show for $5 million. Wherever you are is an opportunity to share Christ's love and potentially change somebody's life. Because if you believe that God loves you and you can have an everlasting peace and life and hope for the future, why would you not want to share that with literally everyone possible?
Yeah, that's something we all need to be challenged with, is to be willing to share our testimony, being willing to share our faith with other people. And like you said, it's hard. It's easier said than done, but it's hard to share your faith. But just you got to let God work through in and through you. And even if it takes going to Beast City to bring you out with that, it's worth it. So let's go ahead and talk about your theme park side. So you're a thuzy. We could tell you're a theme park coaster enthusiast. What would you say, or we'll start with this. What is your coaster count? Do you keep record of your coaster count?
I do. Let's see. Nice. I just updated it. I have to pull it up. I'm not as high as I would like to be. Okay. I am a new enthusiast. I've been a theme park fan my whole life. I have been going to mainly when I was younger, it was the Disney parks. I'm pulling this up as I talk so I could give you my exact coaster count. I loved the Disney parks. I didn't go to Universal though until summer of 2020.
Okay.
So that was like a new, or 2021, whenever, I don't even know if it was open summer 2020. It's somewhere during that time.
Cool.
And like I started going, I now have the pass that gets me into all Cedar Fair parks and Six Flags parks across the world, which is super cool. And so I've been slowly and gradually building that coaster count. I am officially, as of last week, at 90. I'm almost at 100. Nice. I'm almost at 100 coasters. So I just need to go. I'm planning on visiting some more Cedar Fair parks before the end of this year. So I will get that number up there.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what's been your favorite? We'll start this. What's your favorite coaster that you've ridden?
It feels basic. It feels like a basic answer. I know so many people have this answer. I am a big Velocicoaster fan. I love her. She's wonderful. It's so good. It's right out my door. I can walk to Universal. I am so close now, which is so fun. But I love Velocicoaster. I also, for theming wise, I love Cosmic Rewind. She's wonderful. It's such the feeling of it is unlike any other coaster, which I think, even if it's not like the technical best coaster in the world, you can't match that kind of feeling, which is super cool. And I'll give a special shout out for something different to Ghost Rider and Knott's Berry Farm. Nice. Definitely my favorite wooden coaster. Love that one. I'm a big Knott's Berry Farm girl. So.
And would you say you're more coaster or more like dark ride, flat ride? What type of ride is your favorite?
I'm all about the theming. So I do think it tends to go dark ride, but I love it when the thrill ride has good theming. Like my favorite attraction of all time is Tower of Terror. Yes. Love Tower of Terror. Love the aesthetic, love the vibe, the 1920s, 1930s Hollywood creepy. I used to live I'm not doxing myself because I don't live there anymore, so I can say this. In Hollywood, I lived in the Hollywood Tower, one of the buildings that the Tower of Terror was originally based off of. Cool. So like, I love that whole aesthetic. I love Tower of Terror. Rest in peace to the Disneyland version, but you know. So I do think I love coasters, but if I'm going to be completely honest with myself, I tend to find myself going for things Tower of Terror, Haunted Mansion, E.T. Love E.T. I love the dark rides.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I prefer dark ride over a coaster any day. Just like you said, I'm a theming guy. I love it, and I love that the dark rides tell a story more vividly than a Velocicoaster. Yes, so there's a story to it, but it's not the focus. The thrill is the focus of Velocicoaster, but. Have you been to Epic Universe yet?
I have. I've been twice. It was during team member previews. I was lucky enough to be dragged along by people, so that was awesome. So I have not been since it's officially open, so I do have a few things I am missing that I have not gotten to ride yet, but I have been to Epic Universe.
I was going to ask you, did you get to ride both dark rides? Did you ride Monsters Unchained and Harry Potter?
Harry Potter had not even been open yet when I went. It had not been open to anyone. So I've not done Battle of the Ministry, but I have done Monsters Unchained, and it is one of my new favorite theme park rides of all time. It is absolutely stunning. It's easily my favorite attraction at Epic Universe. I'm a big monsters girl. I love the Bride of Frankenstein and Dracula. So Monsters Unchained is just... I already loved Forbidden Journey, despite I've never seen Harry Potter, but I just, as a ride, I thought it was so fun. And it's Forbidden Journey on steroids. It's incredible.
Wow. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to the most at Epic Universe. If that's the only thing I get to do, I will be satisfied. And Dark Universe just looks amazing and just gives that year-round HHN vibe to it almost. It feels like.
Are you going soon?
Sadly, not soon. Hopefully within the next few years.
Okay.
Hopefully once the crowds start dying down a little bit and starts getting normal, which it'll never die down, but once it gets manageable.
Yeah. My biggest piece of advice to anyone going to Epic Universe, I'm a big How to Train Your Dragon fan. Love How to Train Your Dragon, one of my favorite movie series of all time. Even if you haven't seen How to Train Your Dragon, you can enjoy Berk because Vikings and dragons are just like a human thing. It's like cowboys or like, it's like Frontierland, like all these things. They don't need IPs attached to them to be universally loved. But How to Train Your Dragon, the Untrainable Dragon show is perhaps my favorite theme park show of all time, or at least one of them. It is beautiful. It made me cry. So I recommend everyone go see The Untrainable Dragon, even if you haven't watched How to Train Your Dragon. If not for the 30 minutes of air conditioning, it's beautiful.
Nice. And How to Train Your... or Alaberk looks like an amazing land, too. Just bright, colorful, and very cinematic. All the lands look cinematic, but this one looks like you're in the middle of the movie.
100%. You feel like it too. It is, especially with all the walk around characters they have, you feel it's, I would say it is the most immersive theme park land I've ever been in. I could spend a whole day in Isle of Berk and be happy because just of the walking around and the characters and like the story they've built. It's a next level.
And even the Hiccup's Wing Glider looks like an amazing ride, even if it's a family coaster. Some of these family coasters have been proving themselves as to be good coasters, like Hiccup's Wing Glider, the Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood, and all that. And man, so
it's my favorite family coaster. I think
cool.
Big Thunder Mountain Railroad exists, so it's a toss up between that because that's such a classic. But especially from like a modern family coaster out of like the new, Seven Dwarfs or Slinky Dog or any of these, it is easily my favorite out of those. It's incredible.
Nice. And I've asked this to a few guests, but if you were to open the next portal at Epic Universe, what would be behind the portal?
Does it have to be is this like Fantasy World anything, or does it have to be, a Universal
any property? Because Universal's proven they could pull any IP.
Because this is unfortunately not owned by Universal.
Okay.
I'd love to see it tackled in a theme park way, and if anyone could do it, especially with what they've proven with like Isle of Berk and things. And I think, again, this is Fantasy World. Who knows if this would ever happen? It does have a huge fan base, but I would absolutely love to see a Percy Jackson land in a theme park in some sort of capacity. I was a big Percy Jackson fan growing up. And I feel like that's for some reason, How to Train Your Dragon and Percy Jackson fans have a lot of overlap. If you're listening and you're both of those, you know it, I know it. It's just a true fact. But yeah, I would love to see that. That's the first thing that popped into my mind because I think there's so much theme park potential there. I think that'd be so cool to just see, again, on a more realistic stance of like an actually Universal owned IP. A lot of people have talked about like a Wicked portal. I would love to see some sort of Wizard of Oz portal in some type. That would be so cool. Not even just specifically Wicked. I do love the musical. Haven't seen the movie. But Wizard of Oz is obviously I know I haven't seen it yet. I know very well. I've seen it on Broadway, so don't come for me.
You know it's coming, but
I know it. I just haven't gotten out to see it. But Wizard of Oz is obviously like a time true tested IP. It's wonderful, one of my favorite movies of all time. And obviously I think an Emerald City portal could easily hold up and do numbers. So I'd love to see something like that.
Cool. And for the Percy Jackson portal, what would be like the headlining attraction if you could throw anything in there? Would it be a coaster, flat ride, show?
We'd have to have a show. There'd have to be some sort of show. I'm a big performer person. I was a performer at theme parks for years. I love shows are often my favorite parts of theme parks. So you're putting me on the spot here, man. I love this though. My theme park creator brain is going crazy. For Percy Jackson, I think some sort of thrilling dark ride would be incredible. Maybe some sort of system similar to like a Forbidden Journey ride system, or like with a mix of screens and animatronics and different effects. I think that could do numbers. There's so many different stories to choose from in that universe, depending on when you want to set the time of the land. Goodness, there's so much you could do. There's so many cool character interactions. If you made it look like the camp, you've got so much room for like, are you familiar with the Percy Jackson series whatsoever?
I'm familiar with it, but I've never really been a follower of the franchise.
Okay. If you made it look like the camp, there's just so much you could do. You could do like a battle arena area, like as a children's play area. You could
Hmm.
have the 12 cabins and have them, that could be
Yeah.
restaurants and merch stores and all these different things themed around these things. And a standout like dark ride or even a coaster. I could see a huge coaster or even just a family coaster doing numbers. Very again, I feel like I'm describing something so similar to Isle of Berk, but it's because these properties tend to have like a lot of overlap for some reason in terms of fan base. And I'm like that. I just think it would do numbers. Just copy and paste, and then, there you go. You're good.
Just change up the theming a tight, but
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
that'd be cool. And things along those lines, I think, would work perfectly for Epic Universe. I think that's the direction they're wanting to go. And even if you stuck that in um, Islands of Adventure, that's a whole nother
Yes.
thing too. It's like now that Lost Continent is lost, you could stick
Yeah,
anything in there. and
you could.
and Percy Jackson is a book series, correct? Too.
Yeah, book series.
So it
I
worked
actually haven't seen the
perfectly.
movies, so a book series
Oh,
is what I'm
yeah.
going based off of.
Okay.
As an actress, you're making it seem like I haven't seen any of these huge movies, guys. I promise, I watch movies, guys.
But I thought you were referring to the movies when you were saying that. I'm like, okay, I think I kind of know what you're talking about. I've seen pictures of it, but that'd be neat if they brought the books to life too, and
Hmm.
not really the film franchise. I think that's what they based Harry Potter, all the Harry Potter lands, Wizarding Worlds off were the movies. But if they went back to the original source of those books, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, especially they do have a new TV series. I haven't watched it. Gosh, I gotta stop. We gotta find a movie I can watch on this podcast, apparently. But
You
this
watch
this
those, I'll watch Beast Games.
There we go. There we go. Percy Jackson. There is a new TV series out with it. It is again, like I said, it's not a Universal owned IP. It is
No.
Disney Plus property. But
Hmm.
I know that has kind of skyrocketed its popularity to modern generations. The books came out like
Yeah.
less than 15 years ago, but there's still
Yeah.
that gap.
Oh, cool. And
Hmm.
along the way, you said you were a performer as well. So, what uh, what were some of your roles in theme parks? I know you mentioned HHN along the way.
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest things I did was I was a scare actor for both coasts of Universal Studios Hollywood and Universal Studios Orlando.
Hmm.
I'm going to be really careful with how I word things here because obviously there's not so much you can always talk about publicly.
Yeah.
But I did get to play 19 different roles across HHN for
Wow.
my 3 years of scare acting, which is so fun. What a blessing. What a cool
Hmm.
thing to do. I never grew up watching horror movies. I had
Hmm.
never been to HHN. I quite literally showed up and I hadn't even finished my training. They threw me out on the street and they said, go scare people. So I was quite literally thrown into it, but it was such a cool experience. And I learned to just absolutely love it through Horror Nights and everything through that, which
Yeah.
again, not something that I ever thought I would have loved. It's a lot of things that some people would try to throw religion into it and be like, oh, you can't like those things and be a Christian. It's like, well, you don't understand. Like, obviously, you have to draw, you have to have your lines of
Yeah.
what you will and won't do. I have my spiritual lines of like
Yeah.
stuff I refuse to do, roles I refuse to play.
Mhm.
But like you said, you can go and you can enjoy it, and you can also use it as a mission field. You can always, Christians need to be everywhere, whether it's Hollywood, whether it's like podcasting world
Yeah.
or the office world or anything, especially places where Christians themselves have alienated themselves from. We don't need to do that. You need to be out there. Jesus interacted with everyone. He
Yeah.
loves everyone. There's no one who is too far gone. So you should not be in those spaces because you're too proud of it or something. Like, you need to be in there sharing Christ with people. It's so important. And that is why I think some things are the state that they are in, because Christians have pulled back from that, have stopped showing the love of God. Things like Hollywood, Hollywood it's a hard industry, man. Like,
Yeah.
there is not a lot of God in it. Growing up in it,
Mhm.
I've been acting since I was 6 years old. I've seen a lot of bad things, but there's also a lot of good people. There's so
Yeah.
many good people. God is turning the hearts of Gen Z, especially in Hollywood, to go into those areas and talk to people, and that's what we need. So after that little tangent, scare acting. I have played 19 different roles across HHN. I have gotten to be friends with characters like 1950s housewife in a very popular scary zone called Sweet Revenge, which was super fun. Barbara Maitland in the Beetlejuice house. That was one of my first roles. Nice. I've been in the Terror Tram at Universal Hollywood as a tethered and a bloody unicorn influencer, and so many different houses like Chucky and Monstrose and Tooth Fairy and nice. Puppet Theater, like all these different ones across so many years that have been so much fun. I did not do it last year because of filming Beast Games, so that was my first year I did it. And then this year, I decided not to do it, but I will be going and enjoying it. I'm so excited to see it. It's such a cool industry. Scare acting is so much fun. It's if you've never tried it in any capacity, if you think that that's something you would enjoy, I say go for it. It's so awkward at first. It's awkward for everyone. And I always tell people it's so much fun. If you feel scared going through a haunted house, then just think about the people behind those masks are also probably just 20-year-olds who are thinking about, oh man, they put so much blood on me today. I really want to go back and eat my Cheez-Its. I really like you just gotta think about who's behind the mask. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I love how you put it there. The Bible tells us to be in the world but not of the world, and God can use you anywhere. He can use you as a scare actor at Universal. He could use you in a desk job at your job or at school, whatever it is. God can use you wherever, and you just got to be a light, as you've said throughout your time here on the podcast. You just got to be a light and show the love of Christ and point people to Him, and that's really cool. Just the opportunities you've had, and you've done like theater work as well. I'm sure, or like done theater acting roles. Yeah. What's been one of your favorites from theater wise?
From theater, so I grew up doing theater. That's what I started when I was 6 years old, and then I loved it, but I quickly realized like, oh gosh, I don't want to do the same show 8 times a week on Broadway. I like acting because I get to play so many different roles and so many different people and be so many characters. And the thought of like doing the same thing over and over again, I hate it. I'm a very like new experiences person. I love going and doing, and that's why I love theme parks and concerts and coasters and all these sort of stuff. But I started transitioning into TV and film about 10 or 11 because of that. But before that, when I did theater, my favorite role, okay, honestly, and this is going to sound weird, especially coming from, obviously proclaimed Christian child of God. But again, God can use you anywhere. There is a playhouse I used to do stuff at, called Young Actors Playhouse, and the director, he would write all of these shows, and it was really cool. They were storybook-centered shows that he would write, and it was kind of like the MCU but for fairy tales. So there's all these overlaps of, Little Red Riding Hood and Goldilocks and the Three Bears and the Snow Princess and all of this in the same universe. And I was in a show that he did called The Snow Princess, and I played the main character, the witch. And again, being a witch, I was like, but that wasn't, as a kid, it was a very like lighthearted fun. And that was one of my favorite roles. I thought I was so cool. I was 12 years old and I had a black cape and black lipstick, and I was like, I'm awesome.
That is awesome.
I was like, this is it. This is my peak right here. It was so much fun to be able to do that show and have this like cool stories that like no one else was doing. I really enjoyed my time at that theater. And it was another thing that like definitely just pushed me into knowing acting is what I wanted to do as a career.
Cool. And if you had a dream role in a show, movie, whatever, what would it be?
Okay, so if we're talking pre-existing characters, I got two answers for you.
Okay.
Specifically, my main one, I would love, like I said earlier, I love Universal, obviously. I love the Universal monsters. I would love to play the Bride of Frankenstein in some capacity for whatever it is, whether it's voiceover or in person or even as a theme park role. I think that would be so fun. I love her character. I think that would be such a cool role. And another one that I have loved for years and years, and she's recently become more popular, and I'm like, guys, back off. I knew it first. I've always been one of my favorite Marvel characters has always been Squirrel Girl. I love Squirrel Girl, and I was like, and people used to look at me crazy. They'd be like, "Yeah, if you were Marvel, would you be me?" I'd be like, "Squirrel Girl." They're like, "Who are you talking about?" I'm like, "Guys, you guys just didn't watch the Amazing Spider-Man TV show. You know, like you got to go watch the animated TV show and get it." And now people, because of Marvel Rivals and everything, she's become super big. But I would love if I was going to play a superhero. That would be so fun. Oh my goodness. And I would just love, there's like dream companies I'd love to work for, especially for animation and voiceover. I'd love to be in a Disney project, whether a TV show or movie or Pixar or DreamWorks, like all these huge animation companies that have made the films and stories that I've grown up with and that I love and are such a big part of my personality and a reason why I want to do these things. There's so many dream companies I'd love to work for.
Super cool. And yeah, Squirrel Girl, I don't remember Squirrel Girl.
You don't remember Squirrel Girl?
I don't. Gotta go back and watch the Amazing Spider-Man.
She's your friendly neighborhood Squirrel Girl.
Nice.
Go look her up afterwards. She's great.
All right, now I got my watch list.
Yeah, Beast Game.
Beast Girl, Amazing Spider-Man, Squirrel Girl.
Yeah.
That's good. And so which iteration of Beetlejuice were you in? Was it the limited run in 2020 or was it the 2021 version?
It was the 2021 version. So this was one of those years where I was, they call it a pool scare actor. So I hop around and did different roles. But towards the end of the season, I was hard cast, which means I was cast the full time in Beetlejuice, where I was Barbara Maitland. And I was the sheet ghost version. So
Nice.
if you went through the house, I was the one who was literally popping out and yelling boo. And fun story about that. Again, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying all this. Oops.
Needed.
I think I'll be fine. My first time in a house, I didn't know there's things behind the scenes that there are things called triggers that we hit, and that's what makes the sound play. I didn't know that. I never been through a haunted house. I wasn't there for the beginning of the season where they did the training and stuff. I got hired late. So I was told, they're like, "Oh yeah, such a simple role. You pop out and you yell boo." And I went, "Got it. Easy. Cool." So I was popping out and yelling boo. It's not what you're supposed to do. The one of the show directors, what they call it, is she was walking through and she sees me and she stops dead in her tracks. She didn't even go through the rest of the house. She pops through my boo hole. That's what you call the area we scare it. She pops through and she goes, "Honey, what are you doing?" She's like, "You see this button here?" And I'm like, "I did not. It's pitch black. I'm in a sheet. I did not see this button here." So that was my first time scare acting. Now I knew I was getting laughed at by so many people that had come to the house before those 5 minutes. But it's a great first story. And I did eventually learn how to actually scare act and hit triggers and stuff. So.
That's funny. And I've seen POV of the walkthrough of that maze, and I can only imagine you just popping out, boo! That is awesome. And what was it like scare acting in the middle of just the season that the park was in, just coming out of the pandemic?
So it was an interesting time because, like I said, I didn't go to Universal until post-pandemic. That was the first time I had ever been to the park. So this was what I knew. So everyone else that had been scare acting for years, or people coming were complaining about, we had like these plastic dividers and we had all these like things, and people were like, "This isn't normal." I'm like, "Oh, it's not? I feel protected. Keep it up. Yeah. We can keep these forever." I'm getting punched way less. No. But that is the thing that unfortunately happens to scare actors. Please don't punch scare actors. If you have fight or flight, just don't go to haunts. But so that was it was interesting to navigate because for me it was just my first time. So it was what I knew, and then hearing everyone else talk about how different it was, and then I had to get used to the normal. So my years after that, when there weren't taking like protective measures for COVID and everything, I was like, "What's happening? This is so weird." That's when I thought it was weird. So that was kind of funny. And
Oh,
then
no.
switching to HHN Hollywood was a whole different beast. It is ran completely differently than Orlando. The systems are so different, but they're both wonderful events. I recommend going to both of them. I recommend Sierra to get both of them. Like I said, you're going to get
Cool.
completely different experiences on both coasts, which is pretty cool.
Nice. And what would be like your dream maze if Universal could bring any movie or franchise to HHN? What would you want to see?
I got this one. I didn't even have to think about it. I love campy stuff. I love campy, like Sweet Revenge was super campy.
Yeah.
I love Beetlejuice was super campy.
Mhm.
Terror Tram is usually super campy. This one,
Something
I
funny.
believe, could be fun and campy and really cool if they pull it off right. If we're talking any IP, would love to see Twilight Zone in some
Huh.
capacity. I think that would be so cool. The
Okay.
black and white outfits and makeup and there's so many different stories you could pull from. Again, would it be scary? No, it would
Yeah.
be campy, but you could easily have some amazing show scenes with that. And I think having an all black and white house would be beautiful. We've seen it done at other haunts at Not Scary Farm, the
Mhm.
Grimoire. There is a section that is done completely in black and white. All of the scare actors, the makeup, everything is black and white, and it looks beautiful. And I would love to see a whole house done that way. It would be so cool.
That would be a neat franchise to have as a IP maze for HHN.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought of that.
I know a lot
They
of
could
people
pull it
haven't. And
off.
now that I'm sharing it, if Universal steals it in a couple years, man, give me the
Mike
royalties.
Aiello, I know you're probably not listening, but if you are, bring it on in. I mean, if you
But
could bring the WWE, you could bring the Twilight Zone. Come on.
we've had weirder IPs at HHN. Let's be honest. The Weekend coming, like
Yeah.
everyone. If we were seeing it, I do actually like the music houses. I think I'd love to see like a Michael Jackson Thriller type at some point.
Yes.
I think that would be super cool. We were even seeing stuff. One of my ones that I'd love to see for years was Five Nights at Freddy's, and we're finally getting
Yeah.
that this year. So it can be done. Anything can happen at HHN, and we've seen that. So.
Yeah. They could turn literally anything into a scary maze. So,
It's true.
well, Carmen, it's been so much fun getting to know you and just hearing your heart for people and just the parks and all that. But what are some pieces of advice you could leave with our listeners or some takeaways you can leave with them this week?
If you ever have the opportunity to be on a Mr. Beast video, you should do it. I say that as a joke, but for real, it was such a cool confidence boosting experience that if you ever, obviously genuinely a Mr. Beast video, go for it. But this is more just to say, like, if you have a cool opportunity that you never thought you would have in your life, something as wild as competing for $10 million, if it's something more or less than that, go do it. What's the worst that could happen point? You could fail. Oh no, guess what? I did. And here I am talking about my experience still, talking about how an amazing time it was. I didn't win $10 million, but I had a great time. And that is what it's about. Go out there and do those cool opportunities. Go take that trip. Go do that job interview that you don't think you're going to get. Like, everything can be a story, at least. And that's what I've learned from life. I always joke you should build your lore. I always do the side quests. It makes life fun. So that's a big, and there's always an opportunity to share God through that. There's always an opportunity to grow closer to yourself through that. It's not only about sharing Him, it's about creating that personal walk, because it is a daily walk. It's a relationship. It's not a religion. So it's about having that every single day and it being important and consistent, like you would a friend or a father. It's about being intentional, like you are with any relationship, because He's intentional with you. So you got to be intentional with Him.
Absolutely. Good advice there. And hopefully everybody can take it to heart and just don't be afraid to share faith. Wherever God's put you, whatever your mission field is, shine your light brighter than ever before. You never know who's around you. You could end up with a sprained leg and you're sitting next to someone in the infirmary sharing the gospel with them and planting that seed. So good stuff. And what would you say is a life verse for you, or a verse that you just cling to?
A life verse would have to be Philippians 4, 6, and 7, especially that first part. I'm sure this is one a lot of people have it, but it doesn't make it any less. It's just because it speaks to so many people's soul. the beginning of that, be anxious for nothing, which it's so true. Again, I'm anxious. I get scared of stuff. I get scared today. I get scared coming on this podcast, like it's like people, it's a human emotion, but you got to know you have God with you. The full verse, if we don't know it, is Philippians 4:6-7. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. It's so true. It's just what I've talked about today. It's be thankful to God, and that peace and that love, it will surround you no matter what you've done, no matter where you've been. God is for you, and there's nothing you can do to change that. It sounds like a threat. There's nothing you can do to change that, but it's true. It's true. No matter what you've done, He's there for you. And it's better than $10 million. It's better than any theme park experience that could ever be created. All of these things that we love so much that are so cool here on this earth. It's like, again, how much better will it be in heaven?
Amen. And those are good verses. Even if everybody says it's their favorite verse, there's so much truth behind it. And just the peace of God is something that you can't even fathom, you can't describe. You just have to experience it for yourself. And if you get anything from this episode, know that you can have the peace of God and have that relationship with Him. Just simply trust Him and invite Him into your life. So, and then a question that we ask our guests every week, it's for what we call the song spotlight, a song that means something special to us, that we like to highlight and add to a playlist from all of our other guests. So this week, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to you. What is a song you would like to recommend that means something to you?
This one's also easy. This is my favorite song of all time. It's the song Priceless by For King and Country. Beautiful song. And not only just because of the lyrics and the words, and it sounds good. It's a bop. But what it has sparked. I don't know if you know this or if any listeners know this. For King and Country actually started a thing with this song called the Priceless Initiative. That was a organization for women who have been victims of sex trafficking. Because the meaning of the song is I see you dressed in white, every wrong made white. I see you dressed in white, every wrong made right. Oops, sorry. Go listen to the song. Let Joel and Luke sing it, not me. But it's so true. They talk about how the value of a woman is priceless. They had these necklaces that they would sell that had Australian pennies in them, to show that, like, hey, women are worth more than money, than anything, than you are so valuable in the eyes of God. And they started this thing called the Priceless Initiative. They had a movie that came out about it. That was about a true story about two women who were victims of sex trafficking. And this has just been something that, since I heard about it at my first For King and Country concert when I was like 10 or 11, has been so deep on my heart. I wrote my final essay in in high school about this initiative and what all that it has done for these people who have been victims of that. This is one of the things I wanted to donate part of my winnings to in Beast Games was women who have been victims of sex trafficking, because of God putting this in my heart at such a young age and showing it to me through this song, through For King and Country, which is so cool. It's something that I definitely recommend checking into and donating to if you have anything to, because there are so many organizations they partner with around the world that are helping to rehabilitate and rehome and like give these women back a chance after rescuing them from these situations. And I think that's so cool. And that all of that is wrapped into a song that you wouldn't know if you just heard it on the radio, but there's always a deeper meaning there with anything. So that's why it's important to be careful what music you're listening to and putting into your spirit. And that's why you want to put in good things like this, like For King and Country. And that's why that song's so special to me.
Awesome. And we'll highlight Priceless as this week's song of the week. And I love For King Country. It's sad that they're kind of silent right now. I have not heard a thing from Joel and Luke in some time, this year at least.
They were going crazy for a while. They took a break. They just released one song with KB, if you know, like Church Clap. every youth group person ever. That was like a sleeper agent right there. But yeah, they've been a little silent recently, but I love them and their work that they've been doing, and I've seen them in concert 8 times.
I'm probably around the same number too. It's my wife and I
Amazing.
have seen them numerous times. They're so amazing.
They're awesome.
Good
And then,
performers, but they have the true message with them as well.
yeah, well, yeah, 100%. I've met them. They're lovely people.
Hmm.
My dad picked up Joel in the back of his Uber once, like really
Whoa,
cool stuff.
cool.
Yeah, coming from some award show. It was pretty cool people, really down to earth guys. And while they have been away, it's been sad. I'm excited to hear their new music. There has been like some new awesome Christian artists like coming up though, which I'd love to see. A shout out to like Josiah Queen, who just released his album, and Bodie. He's like a up and coming artist right now. He's got that Whisper in the Wind song that just came out. Like he was awesome. We've talked a lot about Beast Games. He told me to come to his concert in Jersey, in my Jersey, which was like
Nice.
that was really funny. That's another one of those like funny things. He recognized me online from that, and which was after interacting with some of his stuff. So I got recognized by one of my favorite artists. So,
Nice.
such weird things have happened from this. Like you said, the impact cannot be understated. It's crazy what God's done through that. So I'll shout out both of them too, because those are some of my new favorite Christian artists at the moment. And in the lack of freaking your country stuff.
Yes, both are great too. And you brought up Rock the Universe. I'm going to go ahead and bring it up again. Who would you love to see in 2026 at Rock the Universe? They haven't announced anything yet, but who would you love to see?
Dream lineup, let's go. Because last year was pretty close to a dream lineup, but Brandon Lake headlined, Josiah Queen was there, like crazy stuff. I would love to see For King and Country again. I've seen them. They headlined 3 years ago, and I saw them there. Amazing. For King and Country headliner for some of the other shows on the main stage. I'd love to see Josiah Queen back. He did incredible last time. That crowd was so cool. It was so cool to see such a young crowd. That was like almost all youth groupers. I felt old in that crowd, and I'm 22. And that was awesome to see them so on fire for God. I'd love to see Josiah there. I'd love to see Bodie. He's been super awesome. He's so fun in concert. I'd love to see. Let's see. Another person I've been loving recently has been Gracie Bignon. I don't know how to pronounce her last name as I'm realizing saying that out loud. She has her own music. You've probably recognized her from Goodbye Yesterday, the song with Elevation Worship that she leads on, which has gone crazy recently. But her debut album is like one of my favorite worship albums right now.
Cool.
And King Country, obviously, like I said, I'm going through. I'm trying to think of like one more artist to get a solid like 5-person lineup. Let's throw in a fun one. Somebody that people don't realize is a Christian artist and very much in. Let's throw in Owl City. I love Owl City. He's got some great. He's been a Christian artist. Again, a lot of people don't know that because they've only heard Fireflies, but he's got some amazing songs about God. So he'd be somebody that'd be really cool to see Rock the Universe.
Yeah, it's a good lineup, and I was impressed with. Like you said, this year was a pretty solid lineup. I loved seeing Matthew West, Katie Nicole, Brandon Lake, Consumed by Fire, Tasha Layton, all of them is so nice.
Love Tasha Layton.
She did an awesome job. She should have been on the main stage too. There's so many artists this year that could have been on the sound stage or on the music stage or the plaza stage. But then one last question here. I just thought of this. Speaking of the plaza stage, what do you think is coming to replace Rip Ride Rocket?
In reality, I think it'll probably be a Fast and Furious coaster, as in Hollywood, because it makes sense. Then they can repurpose the Fast and Furious area, which is, already.
Yeah.
Everyone has
no more. Say no more.
And that would be awesome. I would honestly prefer to see what they do with that area in light instead of like actually caring about what they do with the Rip Ride Rocket area. Yeah. Or in a perfect world, especially because we have the firehouse there and everything, I'd love to see a Ghostbusters Ecto coaster. Again, that's been another one that's been talked about. It's like a blue sky type of thing. That would be so cool though to see. I would love a Ghostbusters coaster. It's so fun. It's such a an iconic IP that the
Yeah.
only representation it has in the park is one facade and a float in the Mega Movie Parade. And
Yeah.
so it'd be really, really cool to see that come. But if not, again, I'd be fine with Fast and Furious. I didn't ride Rip Ride Rocket anyway. I've had my experiences with that. And as someone who used to work at the sound stages and sit on one of the beams and just feel it shaking, I did not. I didn't really touch that ride. So whatever comes there will be a net positive for me. And I'll be excited to see what they do with that, or if they do repurpose it to Fast and Furious, what they'll do with that area. So very excited.
Yeah, I just hope they get rid of Fast and Furious completely. But Ghostbusters, I think everybody's rooting for Ghostbusters at this point. That'd be so neat to see it just the train just going through City Walk and seeing it arch over the Music Plaza stage. And I mean, it's a given. Like you said, the firehouse, the library, it's all there. Just
I wouldn't even mind if put in some sort of iconic Universal IP that no longer has a good traction. We obviously got that little flux capacitor nod at Epic Universe. Put in a Back to the Future coaster. We could be again all of these things. The theming writes themselves, guys. Come on.
Let's go 88 miles per hour in the DeLorean.
There we go.
And then finally, how can folks get connected with you and share any links or plugs you want to make?
Obviously, like I said, go watch Beast Games on Amazon Prime. The first 3 episodes are available on YouTube on Mr. Beast's channel. For me personally, Carmen, it's going to be carmen.a.jordan on Instagram and TikTok. I have notoriously not been a fan of TikTok, but I'm trying. I'm getting out there. I'm making content. I'm even going to probably start making more theme park content soon. So if you've never even heard of Mr. Beast and you're just listening to this because you love God and you love theme parks, go watch on there. You might go see some cool new stuff that you like. But again, carmen.a.jordan on Instagram and TikTok. And that's me. That's all I got to plug. Like I said, go look at the Priceless Initiative. Go look at Beast Games. Keep listening to this podcast. It's been awesome to be invited on here. And that's all I'll plug. I'll plug myself. I'll plug God. I'll plug you guys.
Sounds good. Well, we appreciate you coming on, Carmen, and we want to just wish you the best and whatever the Lord leads you to next, whether it's parks, Beast Games in the future again, who knows? But we want to, yes. But thank you so much, Carmen, for coming on.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me, guys. And thank you all for listening.
Thanks. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Ride of Your Life podcast. We hope it was a blessing, help, and encouragement to you. Stay connected with ROYL on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. Simply search Ride of Your Life Ministries. You can also visit our website, rideofyourlifeministries.com, for the latest news and updates, as well as our merch shop. Be sure to stop by our YouTube channel, simply search Ride of Your Life Ministries, for this episode and others from previous seasons. And you can also find future content there as well. We hope you'll join us next week for another great episode of the Ride of Your Life podcast. God bless.